And it was one of those moments where I felt like I was having as clear a conversation as I could with God in that moment. Hello, my name is Jackson Zamora, and I'm currently the youth ministry intern at Meadow Park. I was in my junior year, about to be a senior in high school. I went to church camp, and I never wanted anything to do with ministry. My dad had been in ministry, and I was like, that's great, I love Jesus, this is wonderful, but for me, just not it. So my entire plan was go to college, get my master's in business administration, and then make a whole lot of money. And that was it. I had nothing else to go off of. I had just lined up an internship at a place called ConocoPhillips. It's based in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Really big oil company. I was in the cash applications department, but the week before I started, I went to church camp. And I remember I've always been like a front row kid at church camp. I'm always up at the front, like writing down everything and praising and everything, but for some reason this night I felt like I was supposed to be in the back. So during worship, like the closing song, it's Thursday night, I'm in the back and I've got my hands lifted, and I remember praying to God. I was like, hey God, this is what I'm gonna do. I just need your green check mark, and that's the trajectory of my life. And God said, okay, why do you want to do that? And I said, sarcastically, being like, okay, God, what do you want me to do? Well, what is this? And I just felt this spurring in my heart, and he was like, open your eyes, because I'd been praising, my eyes were closed. And I looked out over all of youth camp, and it was probably 250 kids. And I just saw them, their hands raised, they were worshiping, and there were kids down at the altar, they were praying. There were leaders and students off to the sides praying, they were jumping up and down. And I remember God telling me, this is what I want you to do. This is what I want. I want you to help people get here, guide them here to this moment with me. And it was one of those moments where I felt like I was having as clear a conversation as I could with God in that moment. I wasn't saying anything out loud. They were just thoughts in my head, but I could almost like physically feel it in my chest, in my heart, like this brevity of it, like my breath was being drawn out of me and towards something different. I had that moment, that like initial call of like, hey, I want you to do this. And my pivot was, okay, so I need to be somewhere where I can guide people to Jesus. And that was really all I'd had. And then it wasn't until a year later when I went to Mid-America Christian University, and I was surrounded by people who were called into ministry, and they clarified that calling, and they knew they were going to be a pastor, a youth pastor, a worship pastor. And I had the moments to talk with those people, and through them God really said like, hey, this is what I want you to do. So after a whole year of that and speaking with a mentor of mine, his name is Kevin, it really became clear to me that God wanted me in ministry. But as I began to develop that call and to speak with people about it and to start to do it, to work in youth ministry and be interns in different places and serve as a campus chaplain for a little bit, that call became so clear, of like being able to baptize somebody and having that moment of like, this is what I'm here for. Like being able to stand in the back during a worship night at Mid-America and see everybody raising their hands again, just like I had been called years before, and have that feeling of the spirit of like, this is what I was made for. The figuring out what was for me and not really knowing, because there's a lot of like very clear steps in a lot of callings and a lot of job approaches and where you're going to work, but ministry can be very subjective. People in ministry have crazy different backgrounds that come from all these different areas of expertise and things like that. So there's not a very clear-cut pipeline for ministry that's like, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. It's scary, it's terrifying, and sometimes you don't know where you're going to go or what you're going to do, but the Lord will provide. And at the same time, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. If you think the Lord might be calling you into ministry, that's really serious. That's really important. And then ask people and say, hey, would you pray on my behalf? So be humble, be careful, and be obedient.